I'm Pastor Nurul. Today we'll be talking about Dorje Shugden. I'm joined by Justin Cheah, who is the project manager at Kechara Soup Kitchen in Kuala Lumpur. Justin, can you tell me a little bit more about your role within Kechara Soup Kitchen and what Kechara Soup Kitchen actually does?
Hi, Pastor Nero. Actually, in Kechara Soup Kitchen, we have two programs. One is the Soup Kitchen program, and the other one is a food bank program. And under the Soup Kitchen program, we actually help them to get off the street, to help them to get a better living, seek medical aid, try to give a little bit of counseling help to them. Whereas in the food bank program, we help to send some provisions to them, where the beneficiary are the ones who are actually from the poor families.
So this work that you do in Kechara Soup Kitchen, is it an extension of your Buddhist practice?
Yes, it is. It is a parameter of giving that we are practicing in Kechara Soup Kitchen. At the same time, we actually we will see quite a lot of suffering suffered by the homeless people, and also we see the poor condition of our poor families, their home, and we realize that there's so much more that we have to do.
Since you've been practicing Dorje Shugden, has there been any benefit to you, or has there been any benefit to the people around you that you know of?
To be honest, I'm not a very spiritual person, and my Dharma knowledge is just very shallow. And well, at first, how did I manage to just pick up this practice? Actually, I couldn't answer you directly, but interest just struck me, and I began to slot in Dorje Shugden practice into my daily sadhana practice. And over a while, I did notice a little bit of change in me, but what sort of changes in me? I feel my belief into Dharma practice or some Buddhism theories or articles, some teachings, especially the ones provided by my guru, His Eminence Sam Guru Rinpoche, I felt I can relate to it easier. I can actually understand the article better, the teachings better, and personally I feel this way. I feel very fortunate because why I'm able to understand more about Buddhism, and thanks to Dorje Shugden actually, and how lucky am I to be actually connected with Dorje Shugden's practice, and also I feel like I should share it with people, because I have personally benefited from this. Yeah, especially in my work as well. I work, as you know, I work in the soup kitchen, and most of the time I deal with people's problem, and I see people's problem every day. And most of the problem is actually very hard to be so-called fixed. I fix people's problem, that's why. And in some cases, when we have to go through some government agencies or government departments where sometimes paperwork and we do hit some stumbling block along the way. Well, it is actually this time of the year, at this moment, I will actually embark myself into seeking Lord Dorje Shugden's help by maybe thinking about his images and also chanting his mantra, and to seek help to ask for a smooth process for this particular homeless case that I'm actually dealing with. And to my surprise, actually, most of the time it just came out actually not most of the time, many of the times, it's actually literally all of them actually, it became very smooth for me. And I'm telling to myself, and I always look up into the sky and say, thank you, Lord Dorje Shugden, just pray. And also, when there were a few cases where, we have a lot of volunteers coming to volunteer in Kechara Soup Kitchen, and some of the volunteers actually came to me and seek help into spiritual advice, and or just tell me their problems. And a lady volunteer actually came to me and say that she had problems sleeping because there's someone actually talking next to her ears and trying to wake her up from time to time, and she would get nightmares. And then her son would see dark images floating outside on his bedroom window. So immediately, without a single hesitation, I just told her about my benefit, the benefit of practicing Dorje Shugden, and I recommended her to do it ASAP. So I gave her the mantra, I gave her the image, downloaded it from the internet and sent it to her. And immediately she did it that night. And the next morning, when I called her to just find out how is she, and to my surprise, actually she said, "Oh, the disturbance gone, totally gone. It's like no more." And the next day, and I also did ask about the how was the son, and the son over time said, "Oh, the son told her that he no longer sees something floating out from the window frame." And for myself, I feel as well, when I'm in a dark area, you know, I just need to focus on to Dorje Shugden's image and chant the mantra myself. Then my fear of the environment is already gone, just magically gone.
So you've seen how the practice of Dorje Shugden has benefited you in your personal life and also your work life. Not only that, you've seen how Dorje Shugden's practice has benefited others, especially with the people that you mentioned that were having spirit problems.
Yeah.
And the practice of Dorje Shugden helped to clear those particular problems. There is, however, a controversy that exists around the practice of Dorje Shugden, and a lot of people are persecuted, and there's a lot of segregation against Dorje Shugden practitioners. What are your views on that?
Well, my view is actually, why is that necessary? Why is the discrimination or the persecution, the killings and whatever it is going on in the Tibetan Buddhism, it is really unnecessary because of life is so precious. I see people are suffering everywhere, every day. I mean, homeless people without food, they go hungry, poor families unable to come out from the poor surroundings. And here we are looking at people being killed, prosecuted, or being discriminated, disowned, or even they don't get jobs just because they are Dorje Shugden practitioner. I feel it's really unnecessary. And when I read more and more about the articles claiming that Dorje Shugden is actually something harmful and something negative, for me, I feel it's really illogical because it is really it's like countering what my experience. Because my experience is towards Dorje Shugden is actually very positive, and all of my friends also benefited from Dorje Shugden practice, and I feel this ban is actually very, very unnecessary, and especially the suffering that has been inflicted onto the Dorje Shugden practitioners.
So throughout your experience of Dorje Shugden, you do see it as a beneficial practice for yourself and others. And on the side of the controversy, you can't understand why there is a controversy and why people engage in that persecution, in that segregation, because you see suffering that already exists.
Yeah.
And is it because you don't want to see more suffering that you don't want people to be segregated?
I feel it's really unnecessary because why we have to ban something so beneficial to the people just because it was claimed to be harmful. But you know, you have to listen to what my experience now. It is actually very beneficial to me, very beneficial to my friends as well. So no harm doing it.
Okay, thank you for sharing with us today, Justin.
Thank you, Pastor Neil. Thank you.